Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to our 8th edition of our Fireside Chats. I'm Tim Pollock, and my good friend with me today, as usual, is Joe Zinni.
You got it.
I got it this time.
I love Fireside Chats. I guess I love them because it gives us a chance to just sit here and talk. It's easy, it's comfortable.
It is, exactly. We can really chat about things that might be important to people, and that's what I like about it. We're helping others.
I see, that's the key to all of that, and that kind of segues into our conversation about relationships. We just had a little bit of a conversation on and how important they are to us, and that you form relationships, be it with a group of people or even just two people, and you're looking for specific things. And one of the many conversations I had with you was you talk about you're helping others, and you form relationships, you build relationships, and that's important to you. Tell us why.
Well, like anything else, you're never going to really find out about people until you really sit down and try to understand them. I mean, in sales, that's a perfect example. When people are in sales, they really believe what they sell is what they're trying to push. Well, to me, that's part of it.
Yeah.
Really, the biggest part is understanding your client more. So by understanding, asking questions, you build a relationship that way. You build trust. And trust is such an important thing to sales. People oversee that, and they think that I got to get people to like me. It's not about liking. It's about trusting. Then people start to like you because they can trust you. So very main important area when you're in sales is to build that relationship by asking good questions. You're trying to unpeel that mind and find out exactly what they're thinking and what their needs are. And then your analyzation of what you're hearing is what you convey back, and that's what brings the trust.
Yeah.
So when it comes to sales, that's important. But in life in general, relationships are a key. And we just talked earlier about relationships. There's the bad relationships too. Sometimes you grow up with your certain group that you grew up with, and sometimes you avoid those. You get to a certain age where you start to understand things. You avoid those poisonous ones. And we talked about poisonous being, they label you, they stereotype you, because if they called you a meathead all their life, that's what they're going to keep calling you, because it's, it's normal.
Yeah.
So when you hear that negativity all the time, sometimes it's best to avoid them, but you don't get rid of the relationship. You cannot dump relationships unless they're really toxic. Yeah. If they're hurting you.
There's a big difference here too.
There's a big difference. Some people they grow up that way and they stay that way. They haven't changed. Where if you are starting to change in your life, and it's important to change in your life, if you don't start that change forward, you're going to stay where you're at.
Yeah.
So sometimes you have to build newer relationships. And we talked earlier about it's okay to build a relationship with somebody smarter than you, or somebody that's been to the place that you want to go.
Well, experience a lot of times too.
Yeah.
I mean, a lot of times when we talked about that is you have experience in certain things. Someone's going to want to look at that and build themselves towards that. Right. They need to be with you. Like I said, in order to be a better chess player, you need to play somebody better than you.
Right.
And it doesn't mean that they're a better person, it's just they're doing something that you want to do better than you. You need to gravitate towards that and form that relationship, because they're going to teach you what you need to learn.
I noticed as I was growing up in business over the years, you start to get smarter, you start to see other people in business, and you start to form some type of relationship. It's always good to have different relationships anyways, and it's not there just to use the people, it's a reciprocal thing. You might do something for them, or you might tell them something that they don't understand.
Absolutely.
It's something that you might know better. But to form those relationships, if you're looking to start a business, to understand better what those people have gone through. How did they get up that ladder? Right. And you can ask them questions. I always say to people, what does it cost if you go forward and you stumble? But if you know somebody that's been in business, especially the same type of business you've been in, it's okay to treat them to dinner and ask them a bunch of questions. It only costs you the cost of a dinner. What's that going to be the most, $100?
Even if it's that, and the thing about it is, people think, well, I took them out to dinner to pick their brain, and maybe they feel as though, it was, I was taking something from them. People who know more about a certain subject, they're willing to tell you that.
For several reasons.
They're actually learning when they're telling you, because they realize what they know.
They're learning twice.
And helping you is a big thing to people.
It
A lot of
is.
people.
It is.
They
I like
like
it when
helping.
people
I
ask me and
know.
come up to me and help them out. You know, we got an intern girl coming in that, you know, a high school girl that wants to maybe get into, you know, the design world.
Yeah.
Maybe not the kitchen design, but she's going to start here and she's going to mentor through us, you know, in our design department to learn more about design of kitchens.
And what better place to come than people that have the years of experience
That's right.
that are in this building, starting with yourself, and Tom, and Pam, and Megan. They've been doing this a long time.
That's
They've
right.
seen a lot of the things. And what this young lady can bring is the new techniques
Right.
that people can pick up in here. So it's a win-win for everybody. And I think that that's what's important with a relationship. I wrote that down. Whatever can be win-win is a good relationship for everybody.
Oh, exactly. You know, and you know, you go through life so many different stages. You have your, you know, your pre-high school days. You have your high school days. You could have your college days,
Yeah.
and you meet a lot of people. But the one thing that we had a benefit of going to Bristol Plymouth Trade School is what at the time there was 5 towns. I think there's 8 now involved,
Yeah.
but 5 towns. I'm amazed at that connection between teachers and people,
It's different.
how that's helped my business over time.
It certainly
Those
is.
people know about you, and they find out that you're doing something that they need, they come to see you, especially the teachers at Bristol Plymouth. They have supported Wood Palace well over the years,
Sure have.
and myself. And you know, that's a key to relationships, but you can't be afraid of relationships. I really believe I've learned my most in life through relationships.
Oh, absolutely. There's just no doubt about it. You can get all the learning you can get. I remember I went off when I was doing restaurant equipment. I went to New England Tech
Yeah.
and learned about refrigeration, and I got a good education, not compared to being out there and
Sure,
dealing with, you know, refrigeration guys around me or electricians or people who were doing this, the particular jobs that were required for mine.
Right.
And being hands-on and listening to what they were, I had no problem standing and listening to people when
Right.
they were doing certain things, and I learned a lot. And I don't want to call it cheating, but maybe refabricating on the job.
Right.
Because I had a carpenter, an electrician, a plumber, an HVAC guy, somebody there that could say, oh, this is the way I did it, and it worked this way. There's nothing wrong with that. That's forming a relationship. Next time you ran him on the job site, he's going to run up to you and say, hey, remember when we did this?
That's right.
And you can work with them.
You know, that's a key to it, because you're going to pick up something for people. You know, we had a relationship years ago, and then there was a space there. We only saw each other here and there on the street.
We're busy with life.
Then Facebook came along. We got rekindled there, just talking back and forth, and then seeing each other a little bit more. And then that led us to you coming here again. Now, I've run a business for many years, but I've learned a lot from you, and that's how each other.
Absolutely.
Somebody says something, and sometimes I can empower you to talk about something better or what we're trying to do, or vice versa. A relationship, if you sit and talk and respect each other,
Yeah.
it's amazing
It's
the
all part of that trust.
brainstorming that comes out of that.
We've done it. That's why we're doing it.
That's right.
That's why we're doing the Fireside chats, is because we've had several conversations and we realized how not only we were helping ourselves, we can help others get through certain
That's
things.
right.
Big part for you, because I've been with you, and we were in your Leaf before you got the Tesla, and we were out and the gentleman was trying to use the electrical charge.
Yeah.
One was broken, and he was trying to do something, and you got right out of the car, rather than just sitting there saying, oh, that poor fool, he's not going to be able to make it. You got out of the car and explain, look, I've got 5 more minutes, that one's not working, and I'll show you how to use this. The guy wasn't as used to his electric car like
That's
you
right.
were. Well, now there's a perfect example of what we were just talking about. Here's a guy that just got his electric car.
Mhm.
You had already almost a year's worth of experience. You knew the ins and outs of it. You were helping him out.
I've met a lot of people in the charging stations with the Tesla.
I bet.
With Tesla, it's amazing. The people, you know, they see you charging and they ask questions.
Sure.
They're thinking about getting an electric car. But who knows where? I remember one person, I said, well, she asked me what I did, and this is up in Linfield and at Whole Foods, which was a regular charger. And I told her, she said, well, I'm looking to do my kitchen. So we gave each other our information
Sure.
back and forth and emailed each other once we did. So when she's ready, I'm sure she's going to give me a call. So you never know where you're going to get
You
out of
don't.
any relationship. And I'm not saying you're going after it because you want to get something from it, but you don't have to go with that. You're going to get something out of it. It could be something small, it could be something big. And that's what opens up your mind And I really believe relationships open up our mind much more than what we think. I mean, I look at my football relationships by going to the games.
Yes.
The people I've met through Steve Crizzoli, his friends, could be financial managers, could be this and that. The bits and pieces you get out of people, or maybe you can help them someday, or vice versa, they can help you someday. To me, relationships have been the epitome of my life, of where I am today.
Sure.
Because if I didn't make those relationships, I don't think I would be as far as I am. And I get empowered through relationships. I love people.
I know you do.
I like talking to people. I like finding out more about them. And I think that's what's made my sales at Wood Palace here with Kitchens so much better than it used to be before, because I'm always inquisitive to find out more about the client and what they're thinking when it comes to their kitchen. And at that point, when I finally designed something, they said, "Oh, I never believed it could look like that. You're unbelievable," or something, whatever they said. I said, "Well, you helped me design it.
Right.
I just pulled it out of your head."
Right.
And that's really what a designer's job is to do. It's not to tell them what they want or need. It's finding out what's in their head so you can really determine what their wants and needs are. And it's not about the product, it's about how you're helping that person. Always look at sales as a relationship.
Sure.
Where you're just trying to help them.
And I think that's
it.
so true. And a perfect example of that was when we did the video with the McKays, young couple in Lakeville. They had a few kids. They were looking to do some things. They came in here, and you just listened in there. The original picture they had was just to put some kitchen cabinets and countertops in,
Right.
because they wanted a little more storage. The next thing you know, they remodeled their whole
Right.
kitchen. Did they want to spend all that money? No. But at the end, they found the value in all the money they spent, because you listened to what they had to say. They didn't even realize what they wanted until they started talking to you and telling their story.
Right.
You listen to that story, turn it into a kitchen and a redesign.
That's right, because the story is what unwinds it all. And actually, they convince themselves, not me really convincing them. One thing I found in life is, being in business, I've always had to, hold back sometimes in my own life. I've had to sacrifice a lot.
Absolutely.
And sometimes it's sacrifice doing something in my house that I wanted, like an office. And, 14 years later, I finally did my home office.
Yeah.
And then now, 17 years later, finally doing my downstairs in the cellar room, which is going to be a bar, a TV area, and a pool table area.
Which looks nice, by the way.
Yeah,
I saw the design. It looks
isn't
really
it nice?
good. Yeah, it is.
And then another master closet upstairs, which was a dead space. Well, I always sacrifice doing that. We don't realize when we actually do something and spend money, it excites us more to do and be in that area.
Sure.
Or it could be a car, it could be this, could be that. You need to excite yourself in life to get forward too, because if you don't excite yourself, nobody's going to excite you.
No.
And I think that's, my spirit is excitable. So when I do that to myself, whether it's when I'm looking to do something, or I do something for myself, it's a feeling inside that, wow, I wish I'd done this sooner.
Yeah, but you were doing, part of the whole thing of you forming your relationships is the patience that you have to see that it's not going to happen today, tomorrow, or next week.
That's right.
But you're building towards that. And yeah, maybe it took longer than you really wanted to do your office or your downstairs. But your patience of building the relationship to get that done. How easy is it to do now than it would have been 17 years ago? You've built a relationship to get it done easier, quicker, and get more value out of it.
That's true. And it's coming out exactly how I want it in my mind today. Because our minds do change over time.
They certainly do.
But relationships have been a key in my life. I can't say enough for it. I've met a lot of people in time, and I know I'm going to meet a lot more people and the new time's coming up, because when I travel more, it's amazing the relationships we made in Italy last year in the 2 weeks there in July. The new relationships in our group, for the tour, it's amazing. It was 42 of us. So a lot newer relationships, and some of them live around here, which is even better.
And you formed them because of the personality. You know that's what you're doing. You're forming relationships. These people get that feeling. You're not trying to use them. You're not trying to get something from them. All you're trying to do is be their friend and be friendly. And the thing you talked about earlier, when we talked about pieces of the relationship, the like thing. Don't take everything personal.
No.
It's not about like or dislike sometimes.
Nope.
It's called forming experience, forming relationships. people are going to like you as you form that relationship. But don't take it personal if it doesn't work, because it may not be one. It could end up being a poisonous one.
It
Or
could
a
be,
toxic
or you
one,
just
which
don't
is bad.
get along.
Right.
The personalities clash, and we learned that the hard way after
did.
high school.
We did.
We try to hold on to those relationships because we didn't want to break them, but sometimes the best thing you can do is to break the continuous relationship of being with each other more often than not. You can still keep your relationship, it's just over time, you're not there as much with each other. Because those people will hold you back in life, and I learned that.
You need to step away from that.
Early thing.
And it doesn't mean dump it. You used the word earlier. Don't dump your relationship.
No.
But you need to understand what that relationship is and how much time you want to put into it, or it's worth to you. There's value in everything. There's also certainly value in relationships.
Oh yeah, and relationships in business are key.
Absolutely.
You really get a lot of connections that way. Because how you do things might not be how you do things later on. You might learn it quick away.
Right.
I think about always wanting to have a warehouse and drivers and trucks and stuff like that. But when I was kind of forced during a recession to not have the warehouse anymore because of the costs, the best thing was to open my mind at that time and find out there are people that warehouse and deliver for you
and do a good job.
And do a good job.
You've got a great relationship with them, and they do a fantastic job. And again, thinking outside the box, forming a new relationship, worked in a positive way for you.
It really did, and
which makes me happy.
yeah, I can't express that enough.
You
Get out there, meet new people, make some new relationships. You don't go into it thinking you're going to use people. You go in to understand about people.
Be honest.
Be honest, understand who you're dealing with, find out more about them because there might be a lot more in common that you have. I'm amazed at how many relationships I have with my customers, and a lot of them, women love football.
Yep.
And even after we finish the kitchen, I find myself emailing those clients to say, hey, how about that Pats game? Can you believe we're going to the Super Bowl again? Things like that. It's a great feeling to know that you have that with them still.
Absolutely, because eventually down the road, you can have a relationship again. And that's what it's all about, folks. I mean, it's not rocket science. We say it all the time. When Tim and I talk about things, it's just making you aware of things that are out there. And forming a relationship is the same thing, so cherish them. Cherish the mutual respect that you have for each other.
I agree. Get out there and have some fun.
Absolutely. Next week we're going to have another one, and I'm getting old. I forgot the topic.
That's okay. We'll surprise them next week.
Okay, excellent.
We'll see you next time.
Thank you.